All right, everybody, welcome back to Fireside Chats, the after show. Uh, with me today is not Carl, but all the players, except for Dante, is not here. But
Except
Dante
for
was not in
Dante.
session 8.
That's right.
Um,
No.
but we're here to talk a little bit about session 8 and future plans, theories. You know how it goes. Fireside Chats, the after show.
Fireside chats.
The after show.
So, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's first talk about you, Andrew,
Okay,
your character, because that
Yeah, that
was
was insane. Why did you do that?
it's an interesting
I was not.
question. I
Let me just
wasn't
preface
either.
by saying, in my pep talk, this was not one of the things that I was expecting would have been an outcome.
Right.
No.
Like I thought there was going to be sure, like an emotional response, but maybe not that
Yeah.
visceral.
I want to begin by saying this is not Saul's fault. Saul did not
Right.
convince Station to do this.
Right.
That's fair.
But to be as brief as possible about this, because I don't want to go into too much detail for A, storytelling reasons, and B, so I'm not talking forever about this. I've been trying to plant seeds of insecurity and doubt in Station's mind since the beginning, regarding his family life. And like, I think there was one scene with Hazor where it was explicitly stated when we stayed up at night and sparred each other.
Hmm.
And I told him like my parents suck, basically. But Station, first off, Station's been half dead for 3 episodes straight, I think now.
It's pretty insane, yeah.
The Station's been struggling with a lot of stuff, and in tonight's session, he put on that ring, got real spooked. There's an entire culture that's dead in front of him, that's gone from existence as far as he knows. No one's survived that any of us could find. And so, all these things are piling on top of his already existing insecurities and doubts about himself and his family life and all that kind of stuff. So, Sation's having an identity crisis, and I mean, that much is obvious, but he's trying to make himself someone that isn't dependent on any one thing or gaining the approval of anyone else. The Station's on a personal growth journey right now, and he's got a lot to learn, I think.
I like it. I I don't know, I would like to see more of the bear, but
Yeah.
uh
I don't think you'll never see the bear again, but we'll have to see.
I
That's
don't know
not
if you
entirely up to me.
can you
I'm thinking
turn into a bear still? That's the
Not without
question.
No.
as the way that the current system works with everything we know right now, and barring Carl changing something later. No. The pelt was my magic item.
That allowed you to turn into the
Right.
bear.
Yeah.
Right.
you're
Mm.
kind of like a Batman type character now where it's like
Oh
It's
yeah.
the gun killed my parents, I'm never going to use the gun again, but then once you let me
yeah,
to use
yeah.
it,
I
not really Batman.
I don't know if all of us here have seen The Last Airbender. I know we have, Blaine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
Have
have.
I've
you?
seen it.
Have you, Caleb?
The movie?
No,
No,
the
no, no,
show.
no, 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 no. Not the movie.
Okay, no, yeah, I've seen the anime.
uh
Or not
The
anime.
anime.
Call it what you want.
The,
Call it what you
the
want.
series.
it's very in my mind when I was trying to come up with how to do all this stuff today. It was really reminiscent of Lake Laogai Prince Zuko when
Oh,
he
Okay.
when he
yeah,
throws
yeah,
the
yeah.
mask into the water
And he has
and he tries to
okay.
make himself someone different. That's kind of the
I'm
idea
glad
I was
that
going for.
I'm glad that we all like think of that last Airbender when we're doing our characters for the show.
Really?
Kyo is so Katara. Like
Oh,
that's
That
really?
half of the
does. I do
inspiration for
get a
her.
lot of that. Yeah, I do get a lot of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where Station's at. He is bouncing off the walls, does not know what to do right now. But he's trying to make a change.
Interesting. Um, I want to talk to Caleb about his character Hazor's backstory because we have not seen a lot of that.
Yeah, been
And from what
playing
I
it
know,
tight.
it's fairly juicy.
It's
And
a little juicy, yeah.
you're kind of in a position right now where like beans could be spilled.
That's true.
Yeah,
Are you mean
maybe.
in character or
Yeah,
right
yeah, yeah.
now?
In character,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're in like a fey forest of sorts, um, surrounded by like in a city of elves who are
Well,
descendants of the Fae.
technically, oh yeah, yeah. We're in a Fey town now.
Yeah.
We're technically in the Fey lands.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
I mean, I
everywhere
was just like
is
waiting
Fey.
for evidence or like waiting for something to be like, yeah, this is the work of the Fae or whatever.
Hmm.
I was hoping that something like that would happen where I'd be like, see what I tell you? Like, like reprimand you guys for calling me paranoid, But
Because from what I understand, your character, like Hazor, would flip out if he found out he was in territories of Fae. Like not just
yeah, I mean,
like there's a little bit of Fae influence or something here or there
Mhm.
that he really really doesn't like. It more of like you're there. Like this is the spot. Um
yeah, I mean
so
that forest was pretty much what I figured was like the epicenter.
mhm.
That tree
Right.
especially.
I mean that forest didn't like you. It liked all of us.
Mm-mm, yeah.
it
Yeah.
I don't know
But
why it didn't like you and it liked everyone else.
I
I
think the theory is that he's skeptical.
I mean maybe the orcs have some kind of because once the
Oh,
tree
like
was healed,
historic.
once the tree was healed, we were all allowed through. I mean, that's what I'm assuming was the turning point for that stuff.
I
That's
Yeah, I
my
have
think
assumption.
I have another idea,
Okay.
and it has to do with what Carl said regarding um, the like vine trying to like grab my leg when I was passed out, kind of thing, and then it kind of like pulled back.
Hmm.
I think because Hazor and Saul were talking about uh, their distaste, like his distaste in the Fae, in the vicinity of the forest where we've confirmed that the forest can hear
Yeah, that's true.
us.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I was even saying to burn the forest down within the
Yeah,
forest. So
Yeah.
yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
probably,
Yeah, and they
there's
didn't
Kind of makes
like,
sense.
and the vines only opened when like my ears became visible, so it became clear that I was like
mm,
an elf.
Oh
yeah, it
So
could
yeah, that's
also be just
true.
like these are my friends, and so it's like okay, because like I'll let you in, and because they're your friends,
Yeah,
I
but the
guess they can
question is,
also
why
come
did
in.
it let me in the first
That's a
place?
good
That is a
question.
good question.
I think
that's
it
very true.
probably it. I don't want to say
I mean,
probable.
you like your character is pretty well versed in magic and all that stuff. So I
She
guess
she's very knowledgeable in
yeah, that's
magic.
what yeah.
She can't
Not
cast
experienced,
magic.
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
well
that's
read.
but like she's open to it. So she wouldn't necessarily
Yeah.
be like resistant of like fey magic.
Mm.
That's kind of
Well,
my theory.
she doesn't know anything about Fey magic. She knows lots about human magic. She's never been introduced to Fey magic.
Hmm.
Okay.
I have a theory that the forest is like it's you know how like in forests there's like the root undergrowth kind of thing where it's like all of the trees kind of share.
Yeah.
It's almost like a symbiotic
It's like a
entity.
mycelium
Yeah,
point.
yeah, kind of thing.
I
The
was gonna make
forest
another Avatar reference, but
the
Like it,
forest
yeah, it's like the
itself
swamp, right?
yeah.
is
Yeah.
is its own thing. Yeah, surely you could say it's like the swamp, and so it's just trying to preserve itself. So
Yeah.
when it determines whether or not this creature that it lets in is uh, going to be harmful or not. And so I can see how they would think that Hazor would be harmful.
Speaking of
But a small child.
right, yeah. Speaking of the Fae and the magic in this area, Station saw a looming dark cloud in the other dimension. In the dimensional
Right.
curtain, I believe, is what
It's
referred
the
to.
ethereal curtain.
Ethereal curtain.
You're in the ethereal realm, and there's 3 ethereal curtains.
Interesting. Anyway, he saw this dark cloud.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, we're in this town where there's not a single survivor that we could find.
Right.
What do you guys think? Because the Fae, it said something like the map we found in there was old, ancient.
Mm-hmm.
So that whatever entities killed all these Fae or these elves had to have been A, very powerful, and also B, like, more like greater in numbers or something, so they could overpower these magical people, right? At least that's how I'm seeing. So
My
this.
question is,
Go ahead.
did the thing trapped in the tree do this?
Yeah, that's another good point.
Because it's evil.
That's another good point.
And this town is very close to where it's been trapped, so it may have taken all of their power to trap it, but they died in the process because they used too much energy.
Maybe.
That
Whatever.
reminded me of the kids.
Yeah, there's no kids.
There's
Oh,
no kids,
all the
but
kids
all
were
of
in
the
the
kids'
lake.
bones
All
were
the
in
kids
the
were in the
lake.
lake.
Like they were,
There's
it's like they
no
were
kids in the town.
sacrificed or something. So my question,
If they
this
sacrificed.
looming darkness in this tower on this hill, do you think that's
Yeah.
the same force that killed all these people? Do you think it's some kind of a eternal being of evil, or like a dark wizard who lives forever kind of thing? Like, what do you think could possibly be up in that tower?
I don't know. My first thought when Carl described the clouds was a ethereal storm,
Mm-hmm.
and those are very dangerous. And I was scared for your life because if you get caught up into an ethereal storm, you can get pushed into the ethereal deep, which if you can't get out of the ethereal deep, you can die.
Interesting.
Like, that is why I tied you up, because if you go into the ethereal deep
Yeah.
without being tied up or a way to get back, you're stuck there forever.
Yeah,
So
it
you
always
don't
makes me really nervous.
you don't
whenever
think
put
that the
ring up.
cloud is correlated necessarily to the tower then?
It's weird because usually ethereal storms are very big. So it's
maybe
more
not.
like a contained ethereal storm.
Like someone's keeping it there, maybe?
Yeah, kind of like that.
We could also have the possibility to really mess up again
Oh yeah.
and release something that
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't intend on
Yeah,
releasing.
Yeah, or
that's very
because
true.
Like,
also those like hush sounds that the tree was making is usually referred to with one of like the elder gods.
Oh
So
boy.
I have played
Oh
in many of
boy.
Carl and my dad's campaigns, and usually when we deal with ethereal gods, there's the weird, creepy muttering. and
I like this theory.
So
We gotta
So
go
guys,
back
do
and
you
cut
killing
that
an
tree
ethereal
down.
god.
do you think we're ready to take on an ethereal god?
Hey,
No, but
my
there
axe skill is at
there
+10.
is like stones that can keep them trapped.
Oh, wait a minute. So in the very first episode when we were in Vitterbrid, Moorlanders sat in a stone circle to keep him safe from watching eyes or something along those lines. Does that sound similar to what you're saying?
That's a different thing because this literally, the elder gods cannot go near it.
Oh. And this is just a theory. You're not like sure of this. This is a theory, right?
It's not. Well, I have dealt with elder gods before and have dealt with them with this stone.
Okay.
I know this is that's how they work. Um, but I
Yeah, it
don't
could
know if
be.
we're dealing with older gods.
Just a hunch.
Wouldn't
It's
it
a
be funny
hunt.
if like as soon as we opened the door to the tower, he's just like, like has
Yeah.
left
The
and then
world is destroyed because we
Destroys
opened
That
the
would
door.
Sterling.
suck.
Setting up
Oh,
for the
yeah.
next campaign.
Yeah, we can't do
Well,
anything
time to
right.
move on. Make a new
We still have
character.
to face the consequences of our first mess up.
Oh my, yeah, we haven't even seen the
What's gonna
repercussions of
happen?
that yet. You're right.
We're kind of just running from our fate right now.
I feel like that
Yeah.
one's a little bit more grounded in non-ethereal
Political. Yeah.
gods and but yeah.
Yeah, something you can hit with an axe, maybe.
Yeah.
um.
Speaking of fate, Blaine.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Saul spent the end of this episode reading his holy book again.
Hmm.
And Carl read a parable to you.
Yeah.
I want your interpretation of this parable. As a
So-
player, I had an interpretation, but I want to hear
Originally-
yours.
Originally, I thought where he was going with that was instead of having someone help him out, if he fell down in like a well, you just wait for the rain to come or something like that.
Hmm.
But then he was like, because I was like, yeah, that just makes sense. And then you just like crawl out or something. But then he was like, and then someone helps you out. And it's something that he keeps referring back to, where it's not about what you can do for your god, but what that your god can do for you, kind of thing.
As long as you
Uh,
like believe in him or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm probably gonna go and rewatch that section because I didn't take notes. I just kind of wanted to uh, like listen at the
Mhm.
time. But I think I think it's interesting. I'm really waiting, and I like Carl's input on this because I think pretty soon I'm gonna have to start getting like commandments of sorts.
Like rules to
Uh,
follow. Kind
like
of thing?
yeah, because it's like yeah, I know about this god, which I call the one, which I really don't want to because it sounds really bad. I think I'm just gonna call it uh, God um, from now on. But and that allows me to use kind of these special powers, let's call it. But surely I have to like at some point have to start following some sort of rules that yeah that would like I'm thinking it along the lines of like
Did you hear that, Kemper?
Yeah.
is that Michael?
Yeah, it is.
um,
Nobody else reacted. I'm sorry. Anyway.
I was
That's a
hoping
normal
no one
occurrence.
heard that.
It's a normal occurrence for Michael.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
where was I? Anyways, I was thinking there was going to be like some sort of faith scale where it's like the kind of like the more good actions, or the more
Yeah,
Yeah.
actions
yeah.
that are more oriented towards that helps me get closer, and then less actions. I don't know how he would punish me. Probably just like get to a point where I just completely get disconnected from my god altogether. But I don't really know how I'm going to be playing Saul in the future. Uh, I don't think I should keep going this route that I'm on, where he's like super confident and like he
Yeah.
has a lot of faith kind of thing. I think he
Mhm.
still should have faith, but I think this is kind of more of like the effects of kind of feeling that sort of power. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. But then after a while, it's like maybe he starts reverting back to uh, his old kind of self. Because I don't want it to just be like, bam,
Old
snap your
self.
fingers.
Old self meaning post amnesia, right?
Yeah, post
Okay.
amnesia, not pre amnesia. That would
That'd be crazy.
crazy.
Crazy lore moment.
Yeah.
Uh, I also have a question for Kemper about Kyo this
Yeah.
session. We, as I've discussed and we've discussed many times, we went to the town of Stern, I believe is what it was called. The lost town of Stern, which is an elven burial ground essentially.
That's what it is, yeah.
What is Kyo's thoughts this situation? I mean, that's got to be at the very
Yeah.
least difficult to deal with.
I was gonna kind of like try and roleplay it at the end, but we didn't have time. Yeah. So like Kyo isn't really connected to her like heritage per se. She was raised by a human um and like never really she's technically a half elf.
Sure.
Like yeah. So like her connection with her heritage isn't that strong, but I'm sure like as a child that she did wonder about like her heritage and stuff. So I'm sure that like coming across all those skulls did kind of drag up some stuff for her, and I'm sure that she's like shocked and horrified. Probably guilty, I guess.
Survivor's
Just
Guild,
because
kind of.
yeah, and just like she never really engaged with that like side of her
Yeah,
before.
it's not really a desire.
And now
It's
she's in a
just
library
out.
full of like her
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's
language
the closest
like
you've ever felt to that side of you, and yet the furthest away at the
yeah.
same time, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'm also kind of conflicted because I wasn't planning on playing her as super elvish, you know? Like
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
focus was her as a druid and not necessarily an elf. But I don't know. I don't know what Carl has plans for that, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm probably going to play her next session as being definitely distraught and shooken up by what she's seen. Cuz like I'm sure she's wondering like could I be related to these people?
Sure, yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think it's more of like a curiosity more than like a um I don't know exactly how to put that, like a mourning almost? You think it's less of her being sad and wishing this didn't happen? You think rather than that, it's more of what can I learn from all of this?
Kind of like you feel like you
No.
should feel bad, but you don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind
I
of what
feel
it
that.
is. Like it's kind of like a morbid curiosity. Like
Interesting.
and she feels bad that she like is just now like seeing Elvish and she doesn't know how to speak it and like she has no connection to these people really. But
Mhm.
also like she's in a library with all this stuff. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how it plays out.
Need.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if it has to be me that like speaks to the sword to get it out of the
Oh,
rock.
yeah.
I am just about ready to ignore it at this point.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. I mean, it
I don't
seems like
know.
a
Like
weapon that is far too powerful for us at this
Whoa,
point in
whoa,
time.
whoa! I could definitely use a cool
yeah, no.
sword.
I think it's for you, Hazor. I think that's what it because Carl made it clear that it was not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
it's some kind of weird, like, juxtaposed elven weapon that's bonded to an orc for
it's
some
like
reason.
I think it was.
from what
I think he meant like it wasn't meant for me. Like it wasn't meant for like a pacifistic.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mean because he's an orc. I'm just saying
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
there's some weird, twisted lore there that we don't know about yet.
that would be cool. Um, but from what I understand, he wields it kind of like that one dude in Guardians of the Galaxy, essentially.
Who wields what?
You know the dude that uses like whistle commands to guide an arrow around?
Oh, that'd be
Saint
Oh,
Ladon?
sick.
That's how I think it's wielded.
that's kind of
Yondu. Yeah.
cool.
Yondu, yeah. So like you tell it what to do because there's no handle. You tell it what to do and it just kind of like
Telekinetic
Ah.
boomerang weapon.
That's so dope.
That would be cool.
Um,
I
Yeah.
That would
interpreted
kill an elder
that.
demon or god.
I interpreted
Yeah.
interpreted that differently. The whole like heroine figure with the sword design, and she's like breathing basically, or however you interpreted that,
Speaking, right?
or speaking, yeah, however you want
It
to
was
look
like
at it.
speaking or singing or something
Yeah.
like that.
I interpreted it as that sword was just like, I'm trying to think. I'm only thinking of Legend of Zelda lore when I think of this, which you might not all be versed in. Like she spoke, let's say, or she sang, and these are the tangible products of that divine word. Like
Oh, like she spoke the sword into existence or something.
basically,
That
yeah, and it's like it's infused with divine power, kind of thing.
Well, but then why
Or
is it in the rock?
Because I don't know.
Because the user's no longer using it.
didn't it say it
Maybe
can
that's
only have
how we
traces of
maybe that's
magical
how we
power?
fight whatever that is in
Yeah.
the tower. We
With
have
the
to
sword?
use the suit. We have to use the weapon.
Maybe.
Yeah, but how do we get the weapon out?
We all start chanting in unison.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to I feel like I had a good thing going there in the woods with like the vines leading me and stuff.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
What?
I feel like
Blaine?
there's something in there for me, but I just don't know what it is.
Honestly, I thought there was so much more in the forest for you, yeah. But other than
Yeah.
just like go that way.
Yeah.
And like dead elven children.
Yeah.
This arc is really interesting, I think, compared to all the other
There's so
ones.
much to explore because I mean, I genuinely don't think that we need to uh go back to the tree. We definitely shouldn't cut it down because that's the only thing holding that
Yeah, yeah,
evil
yeah.
in place.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be very bad.
Daishu
but
needs to
like,
shut up with his bad ideas that he just says as a joke.
yeah, uh, for sure. Um, because I was unconscious and I was like, please no, let's not do that. Like, what's the point? Um, ah, but like, there's the willow wisps, which is what I would assuming
Yeah.
those are those
I
willow.
thought those were my theory was that was like spirits.
Yeah. Uh, I
Yeah.
I have spirit lore, but didn't you guys use spirit
I
lore on
did
the?
spirit lore.
She
Yeah,
did spirit lore and I did undead lore, and
it's
then I
crazy.
tried to do detect magic, but we could never
Dude.
get enough to do
Well,
it.
actually, we had a similar situation with the banshee where it was
Yeah, yeah.
like legitimate willow wisps that were like taking
Hmm.
us to a certain spot. Uh, so maybe it's something different.
I'm so glad we never fought that banshee. That would
Yeah.
You
have
guys
gone
would
so
have been
bad.
dead.
I wouldn't have done anything.
You
Um,
guys would have been dead so fast if you guys
Yeah.
fought that country.
A
I
quick start and
have a little bit of a tangent. Uh, when we were in that swamp,
Mhm.
and Carl said that Keo felt something in the mud and started to pick it up, I was 100% sure Keo was gonna pick up the mace from that last campaign we did
Oh
that
my
they
yeah.
dropped into the
gosh, that
That would be
swamp.
so funny.
I
one
was
of our
so ready.
one of our party members rolled a nat 1 in combat in a swamp,
That was
and
me
oh, sorry, that was Caleb. My
as a
bad.
bard, yeah.
I couldn't
My
remember
only
if it was
Damn.
weapon.
you or Logan. So um,
I
but
think
yeah,
somebody else lost one as well, but before we were there.
Yeah, in a different campaign, I think. Or no, earlier
like
on in the same campaign.
slipped out of his
I
hands.
think I heard about that from Carl.
I think I also heard
Yeah,
about that.
two different weapons lost in the swamp, and I thought we were gonna pick one of them up today. I thought that would have been pretty good. Good
Lots of
callback.
I
swamps.
don't know, is this the same world that you
I
guys
don't
were
think
in?
so.
No, but it would have been a fun
It
Easter
would have
egg.
been a good Easter egg, yeah.
I'm all for putting Easter eggs in campaigns.
I don't
Um,
know if Carl thought about that. That's
if he watches
Yeah.
this, he'll probably laugh about it, thinking about it. Uh, I have a question for Ruth also.
Mhm.
So we met your character pretty recently.
yes.
There's not a whole lot of connection, personal lore like that you've shared, that your character has shared to our party yet, at least.
Nope.
All we really know as a party was that your dad went missing.
Yep.
You were living in the woods, and the trees protected you, and that
And
you
my mom's
aren't
dead.
poor. Yeah, and your mom's dead. But
As for the
today,
mental state, not sure
yeah,
because kind of playing it off really cool for not having
yeah.
any parents at like 13 years old or 12 years old.
But today, in today's session, you dropped a teeny tiny lore droplet.
Hmm.
I can't exactly remember the quote, if one of you can remember exactly what she said, but
You
Did
said something
I?
along the lines of like you weren't capable of producing magic.
Oh,
right, yeah.
Is that
I
something you'd like to
did.
Yeah,
talk
Carl told
about?
me about
Like
this.
you've
Yeah.
tried, but you couldn't do it. There's some
Or
kind
do you
of
want to save
backstory
that
there.
for?
There's a reason she can't. Her dad was like a noble mage in the South.
Mm,
So she learned magic her whole life. And she just could never cast the spells correctly. Like she has a whole book of spells that she's learned and she theoretically can cast, but she can't. It just does
interesting.
not work
I
at
like that.
all.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, Carl did tell me about that. I was gonna like one other thing I was gonna have you do was look over the relics and see if you could figure out like what they were, like the relics that we got. Um
That's why
but
she
yeah.
knows a lot of magic-y stuff, because her dad was a mage and that's literally all she did for 13 years of her life.
Yeah, like I
Well,
was gonna have her look over like the candle and all of that stuff and see if she could suss out what was going on with it.
I
But
mean,
Yeah,
since we didn't get to the headmaster.
she
I mean,
did give knowledge on the ring before I used it the first
Yeah,
time,
that's true.
but
That's why I was thinking like might want to do a scene where
honestly,
like
when you guys got those like magic items, I was sitting right by my dad and he instantly looked at me when the candle was described and once like, "Is that a teleporting candle?" And I was like, "A what now?" And he's like, "Hello, mother. Um, it's like a candle that you can light and use multiple times and it teleports you guys, teleports people
interesting.
yeah.
where you want to go." And that's what my dad thinks it is. So,
Yeah, that I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but like Kyo doesn't know.
mm,
So like I was gonna have like a Kyo Kevlin like talk about magic and stuff. I feel like that would be cool.
that would be fun. It could be girl talk, the only two girls in the
Yeah,
party.
exactly.
has
Yeah.
anyone here watched Cowboy Bebop?
Very little.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have
A little.
not.
Oh, Kevlin is like an Ed character,
Okay.
the child in Cowboy Bebop. It, it's just on my mind. Um,
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna assume
it's
it's a good
like
thing.
so Ed in Cowboy Bebop is like this prodigy hacker, but they're like 12 years old.
Yeah.
So so they don't have a mother or father either, and they just kind of like hopped on the bounty hunter's ship one day, and they were like, "Well, I can help you out." And they're just kind of like a bubbly little character that serves mainly to be comedic relief, but they're also very helpful in locating people. So I'm
Um,
not saying you're comedic relief. I just think your character is very similar.
Your character is a lot less, at least right now, a lot less heavy than most of our other
Yeah.
well,
characters'
that's because
stories.
you haven't got to, because
Right.
she's more reserved because she has trust issues, kind
Yeah,
of.
Makes sense.
Because,
I'd
well,
like to keep it light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd really like
I know
to.
that one day it's not going to be light
she's
anymore.
gonna have more angsty stuff in the future. That's her character arc.
Looking forward to it. Sation just hit his breaking point this
Also,
session.
I'm gonna give you guys a little hint. Kevlin isn't her real name.
Oh, lore drop on the after show.
A lore bomb.
Lore drop.
I don't want to keep everyone here too long. We've been on for about 35 minutes, I think.
35.
We can. I want to end with one last question, more of a comment, but if you guys have thoughts on it, I'd love to hear them. Right before Station walked away, he took his favorite thing that he had on his person, his bag of berries, and left it behind him. I want to hear your thoughts or theories on this on this one particular action that he decided to.
So, just from a raw like information standpoint, I think Saul is going to, after he discovers Sation never came back like down to go sleep, and then the bag of berries is discovered. There's only one place we're gonna think of where you
Right.
can go.
Sure.
In the bag.
maybe
Station
maybe two
suffocated.
places.
Maybe two places.
I could see
He's
Satan
just...
doing that too, just getting in the bag and just like to prank us.
Station's lips are just sticking out like.
Sorry,
Hey
I
guys.
didn't mean to
That's
derail
funny.
that.
That's funny. No, it's fine.
But that, I mean, it's very interesting because I never really like thought of that as your most prized possession.
Well, I mean, besides the pelt, but the pelt is
Yeah.
also gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bumped up to number 1.
Just like it was, I made it a point to always be very excited about the berries. The berries were a
Yeah.
very positive thing for Sation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sation and Kyo specifically had a bond over berries.
Honestly, I don't think you can eat other food than the berries now. Because I personally think those berries are fey food. And once you eat fey food, you can never eat other food again. Well, you can, but it won't be
Good.
necessary.
Yeah.
Just tastes like
Filling.
oatmeal.
You
I
won't
hate
find it.
You've
I
had
hate-
Wait
we've
a
had
minute.
food.
Let's
So-
that's a good point. So who ate the food in Grishesh's house and liked it?
Dante.
Nobody did.
Nobody.
Dante
I
liked
did.
it.
Thought I liked it as well.
The only people who haven't eaten berries before?
Ooh.
Liked it.
That's a good bit of knowledge.
I mean, Carl
Yeah.
only said it was very bland to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I ate the beans.
That's pretty
No.
interesting. Interesting.
But I did eat a lot of them.
You were just trying to
Beans
be
or
nice. You're just trying to
I
be
was
nice
trying
to
to
him.
be nice. I was just trying to be nice. Ate a lot of his beans.
Yep, but that does not mean you felt they felt filling. to
No, I
you.
could force it down. Like oatmeal, not my favorite thing. It's really not my favorite thing. But I could eat it. I could eat it. You know, maybe I pop a berry in any food just to kind of help it go
Spice it
down a
up.
little easier. Yeah. Oh, but back to what you were saying, Andrew. I think it's a perfect like symbolism on top of you cutting. So you cutting that pelt was symbolizing you cutting ties with your family, obviously. Um, Now there's a second part to that where I said like this group is your family, which is why I'm like shaking my head whenever you go off and leave us, because it's like did you not hear what I was trying to tell you? And you always have a family somewhere, if you're with us, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know it is a tough time that Sation's going through, and so I think the fact that he would abandon something like the bag of berries would be very, yeah, a very symbolic way of saying that like he's not in a good place.
You think this is gonna affect the relationship that Station was trying to curate with Saul specifically?
I don't think so, because I think people in general understand that when something is like when people are going through stressful situations, they do stupid things. Um, so or like rash things. Whatever.
Well,
But
Station's case, he's going through a hard time, puts his tongue on a magical blade. So stupid
Yeah.
is probably appropriate in his.
I mean, that was just normalization stuff, though. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't.
yeah.
Well, you didn't like. You thought you were licking like the bag.
Well, that was
That's
just
true.
me,
That's
the
true.
player, mishearing what Carl said. Is actually what
Yeah, that was
happened.
just
but
Carl being mean.
that is some typical station shenanigans, though. So
Carl's
acceptable.
mean. It's a thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have made you like cut your.
I
tongue
think it
for
was
that.
funny. I wouldn't have given me 2 points of bleeding damage, but
And then 2
Thick cut.
around.
Yeah.
but
I would
yeah.
have just.
Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say I would have just bandaged both sides of it so that after it heals, you do
I don't
have a
know
smooth
what to do
tongue.
with tongue. Like I don't have gauze
Yeah.
Not a
or
clue.
anything. Like I'm not a dentist, so I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, I guess I'll use magic because I don't know how to roleplay this situation.
All I would have thought of is like herbalism kind of thing. You could make a salve that.
I don't think I have any herbs with me, and I don't have like brewing or anything. I don't know.
I
It
do.
worked. I stopped the bleeding.
I have brewing just for appraisal, so I can tell you if what I'm drinking is good or not. Um, that got off track.
Yeah.
I think I think that's a pretty good place to kind of slow this down to a halt.
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge I did lie to you a minute ago talking about how Station gave up all his possessions. He does have one singular thing besides his
He's got
clothes.
the ring.
Beside his clothes and the ring, he does have one thing of significance, and it's Saul's torn, tattered clothes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
You still have those.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
I
is
thought you would have thrown them away by now.
not yet at least. I don't know as the
I
as the
forgot. I'm just
player.
walking around kind of like with my nips
Holes in
out.
your
Like
back.
half a
or-
half a
Yeah.
shirt.
Well, actually, you're walking around with a cake for clothes or a caked on mud for clothes right now.
I'm kind of caked up. I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all's pretty caked up. But
Well, it ripped like you ripped the back part, right?
what I
Yeah,
imagine
he has
happening
no
is
back.
like he put his arms like around like the upper part of my body, and then
Mhm.
it just like
I gave him a
the
bear
whole
hug.
back of it ripped, and then like the front part just kind of folded down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like undone overalls.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think that's a solid place. A lot of speculation, a lot of in-depth character lore. You always love to get the background. Super excited to see Hazor's story unfold. Obviously Kevlin's backstory being found out. The whole Elven massacre and how Kio's gonna deal with that, and then obviously Saul's divine relationship with his god. Seeing all those things unravel, gonna be very interesting moving forward. And who knows what Carl comes up with for the story to tie all that together. So, I think that's it for us 5 tonight. Catch us next week for session 9. When who knows what's gonna happen. A lot of stuff can
Also,
happen.
Carl talked to us about potentially doing one-on-one
Yeah. They're
character interviews.
yes. Also look
Something-
forward to one-on-one character discussion
Not-
with Carl and the players
Yeah,
in the near
probably
future.
within the week, I think is the plan, but I don't know.
Think-
Look for it
We'll
within
figure
the
it out.
next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Follow us on
It'll happen.
Instagram.
and
we have some-
Give us
Facebook.
We have some other special announcements coming up later, not right now, but at another time. There's some things in the works. We got the Facebook page, yeah.
Subscribe to
we
our
got
YouTube.
Instagram.
Yeah, subscribe to YouTube. I'm not sure if we're supposed to talk about this yet, but I'll lore drop, I guess, because I'm not sure how official this is or under wraps this is supposed to be. But since I'm part of the team on this, we are looking to dual stream Twitch and YouTube at some point. So look forward to that. We will keep you updated on stuff like that, so you can find us in more places. But is that everything? All the socials, all the call outs?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have Instagram, we have Facebook, and we have YouTube.
Twitter coming
Current.
soon? Question mark. I don't know.
We
who
got a lot of
uses
stuff in the
Weird.
works. A lot of stuff in the works.
I'm
So
happy.
definitely stick around every week and try to keep up. The story is just gonna keep getting better and better. And thanks for watching Dice Addicts Anonymous Fireside Chats, the after show. And
Session 8.
yeah, session 8.
Session
And we'll catch everybody next week on session 9. See ya.
Bye.